So hey everybody, we're back. Just starting the event on the Discord. Gonna be hanging for the next hour or so, just rounding up some of the stuff we've been doing in the virtual production shared project. Stream all good. Good. Sorry for anyone chatting last week in the YouTube. I had this set to top chat instead of live chat. Really annoying. So didn't see anyone's questions during the stream off the YouTube last time, sadly. But rest assured, I will be all eyes looking up for questions this time. Should be live in the Discord now as well. Started the event. I'm just gonna make a little post in content creation chat. Everyone. Oops, I just did a at everyone, no message. Be streaming now for an hour, just rounding up some of the shared project stuff. Feel free to jump in and ask questions about or anything. Cool. Hey, nice to see a few of you in the Discord. Just did a little intro already, but gonna be kind of like consolidating a little bit today. Bit of consolidating, I think. So just got many branches with this shared project, and because I've been smashing out tutorials on podcast stuff and just experimenting a lot, I realised this stuff needs kind of rounding up. So not got any like super specific workflow to show, but I'm just going to be looking at just what we have in this shared project so far, and just like cleaning it up a little bit. Really got loads of this stuff, loads of different levels with different techniques and stuff, and I want to try and make the easiest, least resistance kind of route to getting people going. So yeah, just gonna be hanging and tidying this up a little bit, but yeah, feel free to jump in with any questions or ideas or thoughts. Pretty open this week. But for one thing I did have going on was, I don't know if I haven't found this in any other forums or anything, but changing projects from like 5.1 to 5.2. Well, I'm in 5.2 at the moment. I need to update that plugin actually. All my lights just went out of whack, totally out of whack. So exposure in different levels was just way off. So one thing I've just been doing is going through all these levels and just checking that they're looking all right, exposure wise and stuff. It's like all these emissive materials, they are literally set to 0.8 emissive strength, or like, you know, really dark, quite dark colors, but then in the level, you know, they're super emissive, so it's really strange. Feel free to jump in on the mic, that's all good, yeah. I'll just try and make sure the volumes are all good, but just bear in mind this is streaming to YouTube at the same time, so whatever you're comfortable with, and just, yeah, be aware of that. Yeah, feel free to do either. You can jump on the mic or just ask a question on here. Either or, really. This one, lighting wise, is just a lot dimmer. I have a post-process in here. Just doing some exposure stuff. Yeah. I wonder if the previous level, did this have a post-process? So there's so many, got lots of persistent levels and streaming levels and stuff going on. And a good way to make sure the lighting's all good across the whole board is have a post-process in the top level, like the persistent level, and then change the settings on that as you switch levels. But it gets a bit mixed up, a bit confused. So does this have a post-process? Yeah. That does. Cool, that's got 0. Come down a little. I'll actually set this to manual as well, because all exposure is crazy. This all exposure histogram thing, it like takes ages to catch up to where you are in your level, and like if you go into a corner like this, it's just going to go totally black because there's no light in the screen space. So I find that auto exposure histogram to just be a bit of a nightmare. I think if you're making a regular game and like at the point of just, you know, you got your first person running around shooter kind of game, auto exposure is really cool because it kind of reflects real you kind of what would actually happen as you're going from dark to light areas. But for stuff like broadcast, I would just keep the exposure on manual because then you can just control exactly what it's doing. Can you apply post-process effects on live footage as a means of color correction? Yeah, 100%. I would think of that as like a really good way to do it. I'm not sure about dynamic control of the parameters in a post-process volume, but have I got it enabled here? We were looking at this remote control system last week. I don't have it enabled in this version of the plugin, but of the project. But what was it called? Unreal Engine remote control. Yeah, so here it is. Oh yeah, Conductor. It's called Conductor. So I didn't really dive in how to like set it up. There's like good tutorials out there for this, but in this example, he is literally controlling the post-process material. Actually, funnily enough. So this is really nice because you get this web interface, which kind of frees up screen space and stuff for one. So this just opens in browser, and you can really easily set. So you need to enable that and a couple of things, but you can really easily set pretty much any parameter in the outliner and in the editor, and then control it via this kind of web interface. So when you have Conductor enabled, you'd have little eye closed or open eyes to show, you know, exposed parameters, and it pretty much opens up every single setting. So that could be quite a cool one to look into for real-time color correction. Could look into just exposing Post-process volumes. Maybe if you make a post-process volume as a blueprint, perhaps. Not sure. But yeah, that conductor thing is definitely a means to getting into controlling these on the fly. Maybe sequencer as well.
Your screen still isn't shared on Discord.
Oh, cheers. Thanks for that.
Sorry, I typed something, but...
Cool. Yeah, thanks. Doubling audio on YouTube as well, is that right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool. Should be better now then. I hope that wasn't too echoey for that first bit. And then I'll just do camera. Cool. Thanks for that. Should be a bit clearer now. So, oh yeah, I was just going to see if we can control post-process parameters in a level sequence. Just like a way of accessing stuff, you know. You still don't get many things in there. So yeah, I would say conductor, or yeah, could dive into how to do that for a blueprint, but interesting. So wondering if you could ask help on a thing not related to the L plugin. Yeah, feel free for sure. If it's fairly virtual broadcasty related or anything just Unreal, go for it. Yeah, as for triggering the sequence using the web interface, I didn't actually look at it anymore since last week, to be fair. Just was checking out other bits, but definitely want to look out for. I was just finishing up this podcast stuff. I'm gonna clean up these other levels first. What was this doing? Yeah, it's just lights. Lights are kind of out of whack. I think we were getting pretty close with the whole Boolean system with the animation thingy. It was like around the tail end of that last stream, we were finding that you could load up the level sequence and then have the Boolean as the control, and then that could be an exposed parameter. But I can definitely work as part of cleaning up this project for the next release. I'll definitely work in the sequencer thing for sure. So Furio Dev have this output capture from a cine actor that's being exported by SDI connected to a monitor. See my scene and all, but not the UMG, which is camera and scene information. Sure. So I'm not sure how to like dive into something that could demonstrate this, but is your UMG isn't it one that comes with Blackmagic plugins? Is that right? How do all the camera information stuff? And you're doing exported by SDI. Are you doing like direct media output? Isn't there an actor like that? One of these? No, that's to EXR. Yeah, I'm not sure if I've done the exact workflow you're talking about, so I haven't come up across this like exact problem, but there's like a media output. Part of this, did you have this enabled perhaps? Okay, so it's got its own. Is it part of this plugin here? Because I might. Yeah. Alright, let's just try look into it. If I can do this without actually having a camera going on. Oh yeah, and you use this, don't you? Yeah, to be honest, I haven't gone through. What do I need here? Config file. I haven't gone through Blackmagic that much myself because I haven't got live cameras here. But I know you can output render targets with this media output, can't you? Does that give me... Yeah, definitely media player stuff. Like it doesn't open sources and stuff automatically. I've definitely come across stuff like that. I might just answer that one quickly before I dive more into this Blackmagic config stuff because I actually don't know the setup for this. But for making the media player like open up, I know with regular media players, I was just looking into this. Yeah, thanks for Furial. So in this one, oh no, level prototyping. So I was looking into making the media play in this, and this can sometimes work for me. So like telling your, like using a level blueprint or whatever to say on begin play, open the media player source. So instead of having to go and open it up in editor, you can set this media player and you can just make this like media. You can just make a media player variable. So object reference to a media player. You can get that, and then you can set this from your browser, you know. And then on begin play, you can tell it to open the source, and you can do set looping and play, or you can just say pause right away after this, and then trigger the playback of it later on. So that should get your media to play. Also, you can do this through sequencer as well. So maybe you have a first level sequence that just initiates on begin play. You can just add this media track. You know, add your media source. You need to set it to play from the, you know, the player. Oh, that was lucky, random choice. But then, you know, if you trigger this in your level or whatever, it will just open up this media as well. And that can control the playback as well. So I've been doing stuff with, there's also controls for like play from certain time in the sequence. So if you had like one video that was broken up into clips and you wanted to play back different clips, you could use this sequencer and say like play media from certain sequence. But then this media could be going out to a texture that's like on this screen as well or whatever. So the sequencer is also really useful for making sure that media loads up and controlling where it goes as well. Did I just make that? Yeah. Yeah, no info on how to do lower thirds and things like that. Yeah. I worked it out with this like quite interesting composure thing actually recently, making like stingers. I guess it would go for lower thirds as well, be a similar one. I'm gonna do a full start to finish tutorial on this soon, but I'll just do a little overview on that. What I found is you can make like a video in Unreal and then export it as PNGs, because you know I'm guessing it's going to be a bit lighter than loading up another level, but you could make a little stinger. So I made this like made this stinger. Where can I just kind of filmed it in this level. So just does that. And you know, this is a blank background, so there's going to export in here. I can make that export as PNGs. I didn't save the, yeah, but you can do PNG sequence, write alpha, and then in the deferred rendering you got to do accumulator includes alpha, and then you can export that as PNGs. So you can make your little stinger in Unreal, then export that, and then what did I do? You can do media input. Then I've got the stinger. I need to open the file source. Yeah, so we got this stinger, and it's on a blank background. So it's just got this cutaway point in the middle where you can change the camera. You know, you can make stuff happen in the background while this covers the screen. And then, you know, this imported. And then in here, I've got that stinger triggered to play just on the 4 key, and this stinger playback is literally just the media that I loaded in. So that means that for one, I need to load it up this first time, but what should I do? So, you know, you could like change, so you could change levels like that, but it can be a bit buggy. So you can go like stinger level change, stinger level change, stinger shot change, things like that. So it's quite cool, and that's overlaid using the. So this could help you with lower thirds as well. That's overlaid using composure. So because the stinger is just like a video, you can actually use it as a texture input here, and then that's got the alpha channel say if I scrub this, see the effect on the whole comp. I thought that was quite neat, and like, you know, you could obviously do this but exactly the same, but just have like a lower third instead. And yeah, it could get more complex with, you know, loading in your own text into these lower thirds and things, but yeah, it's as complex as you want to make it, really. You know, just queuing up one is already quite tricky, but yeah, when you get into dynamically switching those, I don't know. It'll just be a whole other challenge to come up against, but so your problem is that in UMG, your UMG will be dynamically edited through the web interface. That's what's causing all the trouble. So as in, like, you're adding your own text in dynamically and things like that. Or the UMG is like the animation is triggered through a web interface. Change the text and stuff. I think what you would end up having to look into is data tables, which I did start looking into, but it's pretty tricky. But you can have, could be one to cover down the line. So you can have like you can actually have just like a Google Doc linked. Both, whatever, I control it remotely for the moment, just edit the text. Yeah, I know there's stuff you can do with linking data tables into Unreal Engine, and you can take Google spreadsheets and stuff, and you can update those on there. It's one I can look into in a bit. Definitely a really good one for yeah, if you've got a whole system and someone just wants to update the spreadsheet, and then it would change everything in Unreal. But I guess it's just quite undocumented, because like people have built these systems, but Epic haven't spent that long building these systems themselves, you know. So you've got like bespoke studios where they've built some of these systems. Yeah, I will also, I do plan on looking at data tables soon as well. It's like, you know, you can have like a string or a bit of text as a variable. The data table will just grab that from an outside source, and that source can also just be a Google Doc, which is quite cool. But yeah, see how you get on digging for an answer with that. It's quite tricky. Planning to support stereoscopic 360. We do have a few people asking about it for sure, and I personally think it's a really cool thing to do, because obviously the whole VR implementation, it's just really quite tricky. The back end development of it is incredibly complex. So we have a few things we want to look at, and it's definitely on the list. Can't say if we can't say exactly when at the moment, but it is on our list. It is on our list to look at. Again, I think there's people out there who've made like their bespoke. They've used our tools and kind of modified them to make stereoscopic stuff. It depends how techy you want to get with that, but yeah, should be down the line, man. I think the reason people haven't done it is because a lot of the global illumination and stuff, and you know, things like Lumen, which are really great for level designing and stuff, they tend to break down when it gets to stitching multiple cameras together, and the added complexity of having basically 2 3D renders going on. It's a really, really tricky problem. That's why there's not, you know, something out there for it at the moment. Well, I haven't looked into it much. There might be someone who's doing it. Can we take a look at exporting sequencer using movie render queue, having issues with the quality when using movie render queue instead of legacy? Ah, yeah, you were, yeah. Yeah, this is really strange. I haven't been able to replicate this issue. What can I do to try and demonstrate it? I kind of have this other level you can open up. I guess I'll just go through everything that I would do and then see if there's anything that comes up, or see if you can jump in with any thoughts. So where was I in this one? Hoping it's this map. Probably won't be when I get into it. As for a kind of quicker answer for this black magic problem with the UI output, you know that thing I was showing just then with the stinger or lower third thing? Using Composure in a similar way to overlay the UI or the HUD as like one of those media plate layers could be a route to doing that. I know that's really vague, but you know, Composure, you can output render targets, and then you know your final output could be a render target, and if you know your composite looks right and you got your HUD in your Composure comp, then you can output that as a render target, and then that can go out via your Blackmagic output. Could do that. Composure's really good for that, just layering the 2D images, you know. Okay, so back to the output. Have a little look. Some of you might remember that from a previous stream where that was playing constantly underneath the whole stream. That was going, because that was a really good conversation with Granda Funk and a load of people, and we just had that audio playing underneath the whole thing. Very silly. Okay, so Composure is running. This camera angle seems wrong. Got a sequence here. Got that. So that's all good. Then outputting wise, let's just check to see if this works at the moment. Move your render queue. Regular, just not much going on in this config. Random number. Test 4. So for me, this is what seems to be working. We can just go through, I guess, what I've done and see if anything is different to what you've done. See how this goes. Seems totally frozen at the moment. I'll just let it do like 1 or 2 frames and then leave it. I'm guessing you would probably see the overexposure even at this point, right? Might even be looking different from here to here. Yeah. So yeah, let's pumped out a few frames. And they're as expected. So what I've got, you know, as I say, nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. None of these are enabled. Output, all good, all normal. Nothing there. In my sequencer, I've got the media queued. Don't know why that would change anything, but the media's in there. The comp is also tracked in the sequence. I don't know if this makes a difference, but I just did it once and it worked, so yeah. Looks different, like the output looks different. Yeah, you get this overexposure thing, don't you? A couple people have had this. Output here, color conversion enabled, looks really different in the preview. So, you know, look, this looks, if you're getting overexposure, it's kind of interesting how this is underexposed in the preview and then kind of normal by the time it's out via movie render queue. So maybe have this disabled, the color conversion. Grander Funk is typing, he may well have an answer for this. Overexposure on rendering out. People have had issues with this. Color conversion is like my first thought. Do you have any color conversion going on your input? Like, have you set up some OCIO passes? That is one of the weirdest ones. So my setup here, I have no OCIO going on. How come you can't see the image very well? Is the stream not very good quality? Blurry. Weird. Is it just the render? Like, that is out of focus. Yeah, I'm sure you've tried this. Oh, bad streaming quality. Okay, that's good to know. I think it's a bit better on YouTube, usually. I'm not sure if I've got Discord Disco Nitro enabled at the moment. So the stream might be a bit better on YouTube. Not much I can do about that. I'm not sure if there's... I'm going to be looking at a lot of bitrate stuff soon anyway, so there might be it might be the juggling act between output bitrates and stuff in Discord, or it might just be that I'm streaming to 2 places at once. It's not only the exposure, but some blurred image as well. Yeah. Let's keep going back through what I've got going on here. So we've got this output pass, a transform pass. This is for the whole comp, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know, this surely is another place where some stuff could go wrong. Thanks for confirming that. Stream is better on YouTube, apparently. Still just trying to get the right kind of balancing act of it all. This is my transform pass. Again, really simple. Not doing much at all. Why have I got a screen overlay? Oh yeah, because I've got this light mask. But that's because I was just doing like a light wrap thing, so you won't even need that. It's literally just media plate RGBA over CG. Like the simplest form would just be that. There's not a lot that can go wrong there either. Is this set? This needs to be set to post process. I didn't do output alpha because we don't need to. I didn't change any other settings in this. I did just try this with a brand new project as well, and I can't replicate the overexposure. I did replicate it in a project that someone sent to me, but I just changed the post-process volume. Yeah, the exposure in here. I know you've tried this as well. I think we were talking about it on the Discord. Setting this to manual. Making sure there's not more than one in there. Also, Cinecam. I would keep the exposure on here on manual as well, probably. But the blurriness is telling me it's something to do with how the composure is overlaying, because it kind of looks like your. Can we look at your camera settings there? Yeah, absolutely. It kind of looks like you were getting the original media plate, like the dirty in CG media plate. It kind of looked like it wasn't compositing in the last instance. So aperture is one to look out for. Lower aperture can cause more exposure. Also, like, is your level sequence triggering different camera settings to the ones you have in editor? That's one to look out for. You know, are you setting your Cinecam level sequence settings like here? You know, any keyframes on any of these? But further down here. Other than that, the only one of note is exposure. And I haven't actually changed anything, apparently. So literally no change to the exposure on this. I think, like, I mean, surely you've tried it, but just opening up a totally fresh project, making no changes. Yeah, when not in composure, the render looks good. Really, really odd. I mean, have you tried just doing a total blank project? That's usually my last ditch effort, is, you know, there must be a setting somewhere, so just trying it literally from scratch again. Because as I say, like, for me, multiple versions of the plugin, or not really a plugin thing, but multiple versions of Unreal and stuff, I've got good results. Usually when I've had issues with it being too dark or bright, it's been that I haven't converted the color space with OCIO. I don't typically use tone map other than for minor color changes. Maybe like everything on input should be converted to linear sRGB and output on computer screen to sRGB, at least as far as my understanding goes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, the OCIO on the input and output is important. I think the weird thing about this guy's issue is that it's looking fine, just like this in here, it's looking fine, but then it's only when we hit render on movie render queue. It's like, is movie render queue omitting some of that color conversion? Not sure. Yeah, if you could try with a blank project, that'd be awesome. Like, obviously it's annoying if you've done work in the project already, but that will at least get you somewhere where it's like, at least it's super replicable. Yeah. Because I think I tested it. But yeah, I don't really. Don't need to show you the process of doing a really quick test for it on a blank one. I don't think. Really just, yeah, it should be that if you, yeah, I'm hoping it's just you've accidentally or knowingly like changed some settings somewhere. Usually the case. Some sneaky tick box somewhere. I would hope so. But interesting that you a couple of you had it, didn't you? So yeah, as I say, Stinger tutorial soon, and like podcast stuff. That should be really cool. Also just got a full-on start to finish tutorial for a podcast setup with three cameras, so it'd be really cool. And then getting into like level changing on the fly, then doing that Stinger thing. And also making screens come up and queuing different bits of media on these screens. So hopefully that should answer your question, PDC Sky, as well, about the media player opening up. So that could be a bit more of a direct tutorial for that as well. So yeah. Anything else I should be covering in that kind of tutorial series, do let me know. Because, yeah, I'm kind of filming them at the moment, so anything else to look into. I will do this remote control. I think that'd be a good one too. Ask about how to maybe output the tracking data. Yeah. So one way for outputting tracking data to match the size and position of the footage. So you mean you're trying to output the plane as like a separate pass, is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, the goal is, of course, to have the video that you're shooting, right, of the person or whatever that's taking up the full frame of the camera, right? When it's in Unreal and you dynamically move the virtual camera, the size obviously changes, the relative size and position of it as you zoom in or move out or whatever. So if I were to output only the owl plane as just a square or a rectangle, bring that into DaVinci, and then pin the video to that, and then alpha channel and all that, and then bring the full render excluding the plane as the second track in the video, then that's my thought.
Yeah. I think that could be really cool for sure. It's kind of I guess it's kind of like how I rendered out this Stinger as PNGs and it's got the transparent background. You could do just your your same video, your same digital camera shot, same digital movement, but then just output that as PNGs. And then as long as your camera's moving exactly the same, then yeah, I could see that working for sure. Even pinning the footage to it in post, you might not have to do if you didn't want to. Like you could you could have your as I was showing, like the media layer, in your level sequence you could have the media queued as well, so the media could be playing at exactly the right point.
True, but
Yeah.
the whole goal is to have like a full post-production workflow.
Mm.
Right. The point is that like I'm getting it real time already when using the plane, right?
Mm.
I'm just trying to figure out how in post, if I can render out, 4K HDR, I'm trying to get like full cinematic quality output.
Mm. And what's the shot looking like? Like, is it a real person and a digital screen
Like
on
so
a
we have
digital
the outline,
background?
right? And then there's a person that you're shooting on green screen. You've keyed them out. You've put them on this plane, and now you have them just in an environment.
Mm.
And then you have your virtual camera, let's say, flying into them or moving back and forth or whatever, right? So your plane takes up a certain part of the screen, and the video should be overlaid on top of that. The keyed video should be overlaid on top of that. But if I want to render that in post, my video itself, the actual footage, is full screen always, right? So I need to now match that to the position of where the outplane is. Does that not make sense?
Yeah. So you want the skewing and distorting of the
I need to pin the video to that plane, which I could theoretically do here, but that's not the point. The point is to do it in post because
You'd rather do it in
grade
DaVinci.
the footage in DaVinci. I'm gonna want to get HDR, etc.
Yeah, for sure. Do a better key in DaVinci, I'm guessing, as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess you could just render that out.
Yeah, well, and I use DaVinci. I don't really use
Premiere or anything.
After Effects, but sounds like pretty much the same thing.
DaVinci looks so much better for the like node-based compositing. It looks amazing, doesn't it? Need to get into it.
There's a tutorial I went through on keying in Fusion. It's like 20 nodes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like perfect then.
Yeah, really cool. I found one that was quite good for if you've got a load of different shots with different lighting and stuff in them. It's like, I can't remember what they called it, but it's just like you make a wash over all of your shots, so they all have like, pretty much similar kind of color space. And then you can put the same, like stylistic color grading over the top of that. I thought that was really, really cool. It's just whatever image you pump into it, it brings it all down, so it's looking like it's sitting in the same kind of area. Really nice.
And now they also have AI-based relighting that they're working on.
In DaVinci, interesting.
Yeah. Did you ever try Switch Light, by the way?
I still haven't got into looking at it. No. Yeah.
I did a little bit, but I haven't had enough time. It's on my list for hopefully even today, but
Yeah. Anything else you're working on at the moment that you can?
We're doing like 20 different shots that we're planning. Maybe not 20, but like 5 or 6 anyway, different shots that we're planning to just kind of show things off, that sort of deal. But like one of them, we're putting up a green screen behind a car, and then I'm going to have a projector on a boom arm. And so when the camera's looking at the car and we key out the green, we still have environmental lighting on reflections on the windshield coming from the projector.
Very cool.
And then a bunch of other things, but yeah, I'm hoping that the switch light thing will work out. I just haven't had enough time to go through it and figure out how to get the different outputs as materials or as texture inputs into a material that allows you to put that into Unreal Engine and then have it dynamically relit, which Johan had done a few months ago, so I just need to check with him once I get it going.
Yeah, nice. I know someone else did a switch light tutorial
into Unreal?
Yeah. This guy, Joshua M. Kerr. Pretty sure this was using Unreal Engine. Oh, it looks quite overviewy actually. Yeah, I thought he did a full tutorial on this. Oh, maybe it was just a bit of an overview. Yeah, there's actually not much out there, is there?
Well, not yet in Unreal, at least that I've seen. But like I say, hopefully we get that done soon. It's high on the list. I had a weird thing where we had somebody on a rotating platform, and then I had a sequence that would just rotate the camera around a center point where the person was standing, so that it looked like the camera was doing a 360 around the person within the environment.
Nice.
But when we went to render it, you can't. Well, we were also moving the camera up and down so that it was tracking data. So we had to use tape recorder. But once we brought it into sequencer, the way that sequencer works with tape recorder seems a little backwards, but you have to tape record into an existing sequence. But somehow when we did it, the camera lost its connection to the point that was rotating, and so it rendered out somewhere completely different, if that makes any sense.
Oh, right.
It didn't make any sense to us.
No. Weird.
But another thing we're working on, that sequencer is just driving me nuts, to be honest.
Yeah. Can be. I've not jumped into tape recorder that much either, but it just seems like another layer of complexity for sure. Another layer of things to go wrong. But yeah, I guess this guy goes fairly deep into the process of what he's doing in Unreal here. This could be worth watching this one.
Yeah, I've actually seen that one. The way that Johan did the relighting in Unreal, oh wait, maybe I haven't seen this one. I have seen him, but I don't think I saw this particular video.
But you can see he's got the real-time relighting going on. It's very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
But what Johan had done was he created a material with texture inputs from the normal map, the albedo, and the roughness, I think, that is output from Twitch Light. And then use that to play back in Unreal to do the relighting there. So I'm not sure if that's what he's doing here.
He did bump out some normal maps here. It might be a similar thing.
Right, but did he create a material that then goes?
Yeah, I think the material part maybe not. Yeah, I think he's just laid them all as media tracks.
Because otherwise, I'm not clear how he's. Oh, I see it happening. Okay, well, I'll take a look at that one again.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if he goes into the nitty-gritty of exactly how he does it, but worth a look for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'll share it if I get it figured out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I do need to look into it as well. It's cool stuff. Cool. I reckon I'm gonna wrap up this week then. Seeing any other comments? For the camera and the plane, guide as a FBX. Bring that into Cinema 4D. Using that camera and plane info into After Effects for compositing. Yeah, that's cool. Offline compositing workflow with the plane. Yeah. Might look at a similar tutorial like that with offline stuff. But yeah, thanks for joining in. It's been really good turnout this week. So it's really nice. Thanks for all your questions and stuff. As always, we'll just be taking away, updating this project. Going to be a cleaned up new release of this project soon with all its functionality and some videos to go with it, and then a full podcast start to finish tutorial with, as I said, some multiple camera switching, stingers, queuing video, fun things like that. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. It's so nice to see so many people butting heads over this tricky virtual production stuff. Yeah. Yeah, cheers all. Ending here.